I think it's important to flood our minds with positive, optimistic thoughts so we can have reference points. And there are many of them throughout history, whether it's not with Beethoven or, well, who else? Franklin Roosevelt, who's in a wheelchair, had polio, became the president. Wow. And what about Lincoln, whose 3-year-old son died while he was in the White House? When Lincoln was a young man, they took away his pocket knife because they were so worried that he was going to slit his own wrists. Manic depressive, like Winston Churchill, perhaps. Churchill wrote the history of the English-speaking people when he was running the resistance against fascism in World War II. And he was known for being, man, his black dog, he said, would enter the room and he'd tell the rest of the ministers, I can't do any more today. And yet he pulled himself out. So people like that can do, who are responsible for so much. What can we do as individuals? But what about the people who actually use something in order to pull themselves out of flood depression? What do they do? Do any of these ideas actually work? Well, let's go to the most challenging position of all, which would be those people who dismantle bombs. Wow, I heard about them as a kid. Bombs dropped all over England, and they were buried in the ground. Suddenly they'd find them when they were digging in the underground or something. Call in the UXB people who just tinker with it and defuse it, not a problem. And today there's more than a few guys, the American military in Afghanistan and Iraq and before, who defuse bombs on just a daily basis. Some of them have done it 400 or 500 times. How do they keep calm under that situation? How is it that measurably their anxiety goes down, their blood pressure goes down, their cortisol goes down, when they're doing something that any split second they could blow themselves to smithereens? Well, I just read about this in a book, Barking Up the Wrong Tree. And the interview was with one of these bomb dismantlers. And they said, how do you do it? And he says, well, 2 things. I don't go down the rabbit hole. What's that? Well, that's the thinking that's not useful. What happens if I cut the wrong wire and it blows up? Oh my God, I imagine the funeral. What would my parents say? My wife. And all of a sudden it gets worse and worse, and the fear comes up and you can't even move. He says, I don't allow myself to go down the rabbit hole. And I stop myself by asking myself, is that useful? No, it's not. Okay, well, I'm not going to allow my mind to go there. I'm going to focus on, quote, what I can do. I asked myself, what can I do? And he said the worst one was when he was trapped underwater. His oxygen lasted only half an hour. The communication system broke down. And he found himself trapped, covered in wires. And he couldn't move. Well, that would just absolutely make most people go insane. Boom. But he said, no, what can I do? He said, well, I'm still breathing. Oh, yeah, I got a half hour left. I'm still breathing. First step, small one. What else can I do? Well, I can wiggle my fingers. Yeah, I can pull that wire off of me. I can wiggle my wrist. What else can I do? Well, I can shrug my shoulders a bit and come out of that bit there. And eventually he freed himself up. And then he feels along the edge of the torpedo and feels the housing of a screw there. Oh, that's interesting. Well, I suppose what I could do is take my screwdriver and open that up, and bit after bit, one step at a time. Instead of going down the fear-based rabbit hole, ask myself, he said, what can I do? Now, you and I go through this every day without even knowing it. Every day we take our life in our hands, literally in the steering wheel of our car. The life is within your control in your hands. And you're going down the road, and all of a sudden there's this huge concrete wall in front of you. Well, you don't dwell upon it. You don't go down the rabbit hole. What happens if I keep going? What would my funeral be like? I should select the movie and write a will. Oh, no. No, what you do is you just gently turn the steering wheel of your car. And you've done this thousands and thousands of times. It's that easy. Training the mind to think, what can I do? As opposed to, what happens if I hit that obstacle? Oh, well, that's kind of cool. So if we flood ourselves minds with these ideas of the success of other people. And they're all around us, everywhere. There are heroes everywhere in our lives, but they don't talk about it. But they are heroes and heroines. We hear about them in the dramatic sense. But the real heroes are, say, like a single parent, raising a child. They go out to work each day to earn money to provide for the child. They nurture them. They keep them in school. They try their best to get them around good friends, to keep out of gangs and all that. Now that's a heroine or a hero. They don't think of themselves as that, but that's really where it is. Focus. Focus on what? Focus on what you want. Your own mission. Because we all have a contribution to make in our uniqueness. The world needs you because of that. You're put here by the Creator to make a contribution. And you are God's fingertips. This is how God experiences. Kind of cool, huh? So that's it for right now. I hope you've heard something that you can take with you, something that you can actually share with other people. My challenge is every day I go up to a complete stranger. I walk up to them and I say, "Excuse me, sir. I have an agreement with myself that I'm going to walk up to a complete stranger and shake hands for no reason other than to wish you well today." And then I walk away quickly. That way they know there's no hidden agenda. I'm not trying to sell them something or convince them of anything. I look over my shoulder and I see there's a big smile on that person's face. Just for the moment. It makes me smile too. So let's reach out to one another. Each one of us is on a separate journey. Each one of us has things to go through. But it's a beautiful world when we can share it with other people. Thanks for coming in today. Thanks for listening. Take with you out of this what you want and share it willingly.